our identity is actually what is keeping us unprofitable. This video is for unprofitable traders. If you have been in the market for some period of time and you are still struggling with consistent profitability, you are still struggling to be consistently profitable, then this video is for you. Consistent profitability is different from the ability to put on a winning trade. Anybody can actually put on a winning trade. You can actually go into your MT5 and place a trade, and trade goes in your favor and you win the trade. I'm not talking about that. Anybody can do that. Now I'm talking about being consistently profitable. That is what this video is all about. And I've actually I've come to realize that you can talk about controlling your emotions, being disciplined, being patient, and all of that. You can talk about that on and on and on and on and on. You can read psychology books, you can even have a mentor, and you can do all of that. And when the real pressure comes in, you still find yourself breaking the rules that you have actually studied about. You've actually told yourself so many times that you're not going to break your rules. You're going to wait for your setup. You're going to, respect your risk. But you still find yourself not being able to do that. And actually, that is the most frustrating thing I have ever experienced in my life. That's the most frustrating scenario that I've ever experienced in my life. Nothing is other than sabotaging yourself all over and all over again after promising yourself a lot of times that you're not going to do that, and you still find yourself uncontrollably doing that same thing that you said you're not going to do. And this is where our identity comes in. Growing up as a child, as a kid, we picked up a lot of emotions growing up as a kid. Some of us during our growing up, during our school, during our primary school and secondary school and all of that, we had this experience that actually has settled deep down into our subconscious mind. Some don't have the confidence to be themselves. You're being punished for being yourself. You make mistakes, you're being punished for it. If you don't study well, you're going to get bad grades, and you are most likely get punished for it. So many things that we picked up, so many emotions that we picked up while growing up, that has actually settled in us, and it has formed a certain identity. We all had different experiences. We all had different experiences growing up. But for most people, just like me, while growing up, I literally get afraid of making mistakes, because I know I'm going to be punished for making mistakes. I can't afford to be myself. You actually want to be this person. If you are not doing well in your class, you get punished for it. If you are not how am I going to put this? If you are not reaching the what people expect you to do, you are not reaching the expectancy of people, of your teachers, of your guidance, then you feel bad about it because you get punished. You get punished for it. So this is the identity that we have actually that's actually settled down in our subconscious mind. So you don't want to make mistakes. You don't want to feel bad about yourself. You are protecting your ego. You are protecting your intelligence. You are protecting your confidence. You don't want anything that will diminish your confidence. You don't want anything that will diminish your intelligence. All those things are threat to that identity. So when we now grow up, then we are now trying to defend that identity that we have picked up while growing up. You don't want to make mistakes. You are afraid of making mistakes. You are afraid of, or you are afraid of making mistakes. You are afraid of doing things that will upset people. You are afraid of being yourself. You are afraid of expressing yourself just the way you are. And that's the problem that most traders are having in the market. You want to protect your ego, you want to protect your analysis, you want to protect your intelligence, you want to protect your confidence, you want to avoid mistakes at all costs. You don't want anything that will make you feel like you are making mistakes or you are not doing your best. Society generally rewards effort, it rewards intelligence, it rewards all of that. So now you bringing that same identity into the market, and you now realize that, man, the way market works is entirely different with the mindset that you have. Your mindset is your biggest edge. That identity is actually the opposite of what the market requires of you. That identity is naturally a trait. Trading identity, the identity that you need to become successful, to become consistently successful trader, profitable trader, is actually a trait to your natural state of being. I'm going to explain this. So what is your natural state of being? Your natural state of being wants to protect itself at all costs. Your natural state of being doesn't want to make mistake. Your natural state of being craves certainty. It feels safe with certainty. So what is your natural state of being? Your natural state of being don't want to make mistakes. It's avoiding mistake at all costs, because it's already been programmed into your subconscious mind that if you made mistakes, you're going to get punished for it at all costs. So it doesn't want to make mistake. It wants to avoid mistakes. Your natural state of being craves certainty. It wants to be sure about something before embarking on that thing. So it craves certainty. It actually feels threatening when you get yourself involved in an uncertainty environment. So that is what your natural state of being craves. It doesn't want to make mistakes. It craves certainty. It wants to protect your ego. It wants to protect your intelligence. It wants to make you feel enough. It doesn't want you to feel bad of yourself. So you actually naturally want to do everything to protect this identity of your natural state of being. So trading now comes in. Alright? Trading comes in. And the most important thing about trading is, trading has its own identity. Trading is an uncertain environment. It's a probabilistic environment. So when you are bringing an uncertainty situation to a state of being that only wants certainty, so there is a friction between the two. So that means you're automatically threatening your state of being. That is why most professional traders will tell you that trading is against human nature, and it is very true. It is not far from the truth. It is the truth. Trading is against human nature. The idea of trading alone The idea of uncertainty, threatens your state of being. It threatens who you are on the subconscious level. It threatens who you are. So you bring the idea of trading into your state of being. Naturally, your state of being fights the situation. It cannot comprehend that identity, because you are not running on that identity. You are running on a different identity. That's why trading is hard. That is why you cannot stick to your rules. You cannot stick to your. It's to telling you to be disciplined, telling you to be patient, telling you to control your emotion is not enough. It's just like you're trying to solve the output without solving the root cause of the output. And your identity shapes your subconscious programming. The identity that you carry within yourself, it shapes your subconscious programming. And your subconscious programming shapes your nervous system. Your nervous system responds to your subconscious program, so it naturally responds to your identity, how you see yourself, your self-image, your self-worth, how you see yourself, how you operate at your core. That is what your nervous system responds to. And what creates your behavior? The nervous system. So it is the identity to your subconscious programming, to the nervous system, to the behavior. So when you're trading your natural state of being, that craves certainty, it craves prediction. It's uncertainty naturally threatens your state of being. It cannot comprehend an uncertain situation. So even if you know it intellectually that you have to follow your rules, you have to be patient, you have to control your emotions. If you do it for a couple of times, if you trade for a couple of weeks, or you even try to perform it, at some point the programming is going to hijack you. You actually don't have control over it. It's going to hijack you, and it's going to express itself. That programming is going to express itself, because that is how you are programmed naturally. It's actually not doing you bad. It is actually just how you are at your core. So you have to understand yourself. You have to understand. It is very, very important. You can actually go on and on and on with trading, but without this awareness of your identity, without this awareness of your identity, then it's going to be so tough. It's going to be so hard. I have been there. It is very, very tough. It is draining mentally, financially, physically. It is draining. It is not something that I wish on anybody. If you don't actually go through the experience by yourself, I think it will be very hard to come to this awareness. Trading has to break you to your core. It has to break you mentally. It has to break you financially. To have this awareness, then you can start picking yourself up piece by piece. You can actually start building a new identity. You can start to still trading through a new identity, through a new perspective. And doing that is still another work, because it requires repetition, it requires action. It's just like you're trying to reprogram your subconscious mind. You believe one thing and you are trying to override that belief. You're trying to bring in a new belief system. For most of us that have read Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, it highlighted trading beliefs that you need to cultivate. Your beliefs are important. You actually see the reality filter filter itself back to you through your beliefs. So if you have some certain beliefs that is not working for you, example, the first belief that you need to cultivate there, he said anything can happen. You don't need to know what will happen next to actually win a trade. On and on and on. If you have not read Mark Douglas Trading the Zone, I think this is the actual time to go and pick up that book and read and digest it. Then you're going to see the beliefs that you have to cultivate, because our beliefs, they program our nervous, our subconscious programming. The work has to start from the subconscious programming. You cannot solve this problem by solving the behavior, solving the output. You have to go. It has to start from your core, from your source, from the way you see yourself, your self-worth, your self-image, the identity you build around yourself from your childhood. It might be maybe you think you are not enough, you are afraid of making mistakes, on and on and on and on like that. And these things are what really triggers us in the market. This is what actually holds traders down in the market. Work has to start from within yourself. It is deeper than the money. Trading is deeper than the money. Listen, do the work, do the inner work. It's very important. Peace out. See you in my next video.